Hello, I'm Martin Baszty from Konflux build team, and I'm also person responsible for Konflux and Forgejo integration. So let me show you a demo today about how to onboard Forgejo repository into Konflux. For example, I have this Forgejo repository in Fedora Forge, which is just deployment of Forgejo, and I want to onboard this repository into Konflux. So let's start with the documentation. You can go to building, getting started, and then creating application components. I have already created application, so the only creation of components for just specific. So let's go to creating components. And you can already see here that we have Forgejo as supported provider. And let's scroll down. This is how to we will use with UI. But there is an important note that right now for Forgejo or GitLab, we don't support creation of onboarding secrets in UI, but this must be done manually using command line. So let's start with this. There is a link to Forgejo guide. As the procedure says in Forgejo, you have to go to user settings and create the access token. Important part is that you have to create the permissions according to this list. So issue, organization, repository must have these given permissions. So let's start creating access token. So your profile, preferably this should be a service account, not your own profile, but for testing purposes, your profile is good enough. And there is applications, and in applications you see access tokens. Name your token, so we're gonna name it Konflux. And then we have to select permissions. As I said, issue must be read and write, organization must be read, repository must be read and write, user must be read. Then click on generate token, and you have token here. You have to copy it because it will be shown only once. Now we have to create that secret in OpenShift. So I already predefined a template for me. And here at the end, there's a string data password. And you have to replace it with the right token. There are some important labels. For example, this credential label, it has to be set to SCM, and SCM host label must be set to your Forgejo provider. So in my case, it's Forge on Fedora project staging environment. There is another annotation which is optional, and it's called SCM repository. And I'm using this annotation to limit this token into this specific repository. So only this repo will be applicable for this token. Okay, now I will save it, and I will create a secret in my OpenShift cluster. And it was created. Also, if you need details, you can click here on creating control management secrets in documentation, and all fields are explained here. But let's move back to getting started and how to create component. So I will follow this how to create component using UI. I will get to my application. I just created an application called Fedora Forgejo, and now I want to onboard my Forgejo repository as a component. So I will just add a component. First item, you need to provide your repository URL. So it's this one. And you have to provide annotation to Forgejo if it's not there, and also your provider annotation here. So it's a host of your Forgejo provider. Then you can name your component name. And in my case, I want to select a different pipeline. I will just use minimal pipeline. It's only for testing purpose. And then just create a component. In case you want to use a CLI, there is also CLI how-to. You will just click here, the onboarding component from Forgejo with CLI, and everything is described here, what to do, how to create a component, an image repository, etc. The important part is that your component must contain Git provider Forgejo and the proper Git provider URL called. In my case, it's a Fedora. We can check it in the OpenShift. So basically, I just onboarded a component using UI, and this was created in OpenShift by UI. So as you can see, this Git provider is Forgejo, and URL is Fedora Forge. And also you can see this is the one. This is a source repository, so I'm onboarding this repository as a component Golang sample Forge. In annotations, you see the pipeline I chose. It's this pipeline, and the status. You can see that it was already onboarded. That there is a merge URL, basically pull request in Forgejo that was created. So I will go back to my repository. I will open pull requests, and you can see there is a new pull request created by Konflux. It's onboarding pull request. If you open it and click on the change files, you can see there are two pipelines. One is for pull request, one is for push. It contains pipeline itself, what will run in CI for you. I go back to conversation. At the end, you can see that here the build pipeline is running, and here there is a pending pipeline for integration test, and it will be testing enterprise contract if your build fulfills all requirements set by your administrators. If I can click on the details here, and it will redirect me to Konflux, and I will see the running pipeline. You can see already we are somewhere in the middle. Build may take several minutes, and then after build, we have some checks. So once build pipeline is done, it will start the integration test pipeline, and I will show you that later. And now our pipeline has finished. You can see it's green, succeeded. We have few warnings from Claire and TPA scan, but that's not related to Forgejo support. So let's check if our integration test pipeline runs. So let's go back to pipeline runs, and you can see there is a type test, and it's enterprise contract pipeline here. So when I click on it, you can see it succeeded, it ran, and it was successful. So let's go back to pull request in Fedora. Let me refresh. And here you can see results from the build pipeline, all the tasks. When you click on it, you will get into task logs. And at the end, you can see both pipelines succeeded, build pipeline and also integration test pipeline. If you click on integration test pipeline here, you can get to Konflux view as well, the same as we did before with the build pipeline. So now we have successfully onboarded repository into Konflux. You just need to merge the onboarding pull request, and it's done. There is a minor issue related to mainly Fedora users. If your collaborators in repository are done only via Teams and not as a direct collaborators, Python as a code, which is a part of Konflux, doesn't allow you to run the pipelines, build pipeline, into integration pipeline. So in this case, you need to add owners, this owner file, and you have to enumerate users who are allowed to run pipelines or approve pipelines to be triggered. The issue is in progress, so there is some work. So hopefully soon we will resolve this issue and you will not need this owner's workaround. So thank you for using Konflux, and that's all from me.